There are many simple things in the world. Shovels. They are all different. Gardening shovel. Unloading shovel. Children's shovel. But there is also a different shovel. We use it when we come to the position. In short time, it helps us dig a trench which saves us from bullets. If a tank will pass over the trench, there is a high probability that it will not cause any harm to the soldier. We dig in the ground, deeper, and then connect the trenches with our friends to the left. In just a few hours, trenches are all connected. When we do not have an axe, we can use a shovel to cut a loaf of bread. A soldier uses a shovel as a paddle, crossing the wide river under enemy fire. If we run out of ammunition, we will use a shovel again, and then we'll move on. And when we get the order to stop, we'll take a shovel again and build around us an impregnable fortress. This fortress is defended by the Army of Ukraine, our army.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here? Jeez, what happened to me? I was ruling the galaxy, had a cherry new battle station. I mean, this place had an omelet bar, a straight-up omelet bar. And now look, my former interns tossing me down a bottomless freaking pit. You know, come to think of it, my whole life has been a series of what the moments. That was my out.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
You said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Broadcasting live for the functional. Man, why is my mic so high? For the Functional Veterans Center of Excellence on this 17 June. WTF Nation Radio. U.S. Army WTF moments. Deep within the basement of the Pentagon, and maybe in the basement of the Alamo, somewhere in the sands of Area 51, or maybe somewhere in the Cheyenne Mountain Complex. The show. I've been out. Thank you guys for your patience. Appreciate all the chats, but I am okay. There's nothing wrong. Rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. So, yeah. What was I talking about? Anyways, so yeah, pray for the toilet. Ooh, yeah. Whoop whoop. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was doing some sound stuff earlier with the mic, and now it's like it's all acting all weird. So, it's acting all weird. But at any rate, yeah. So anyways, how y'all doing? Hope y'all had a, you're in my in-laws basement. That's right, Branko. That's right. Ain't totally in the in-laws, in the Brankment. I almost said Brankment. The basement. Yes, I am. Yeah, you never know. You never know. Man, yeah, I'm about to say, if you're preparing for a colonoscopy, woo, buddy, prepare the toilet. Prepare the toilet. So, again, appreciate everybody, asking where I was at. Yeah, I think you guys need to pay attention more. I said that a week and a half ago that I was going to be at the net, and so now I'm back to shoot the shit and talk about all the news that's out there. And we're gonna have a guest tonight. Our guest tonight is going to be Armani Guerra, and Armani is going to talk to us about long COVID. And I speak Americans pretty well. Muchas gracias. So he's going to come on and shoot the shit with us and talk about what he's been doing and what he's been advocating for the veteran community when it comes to the fight. Just basically veterans VA recognition of long COVID. We're going to get into some good conversations because I remember a while back, we're not talking about the shot, okay? This is not going to be a vax or anti-vax or whatever. This is long COVID. I did a little bit of research, and I actually spoke to 2 infectious disease people. And because everyone likes to say it doesn't exist. Now, I don't know if it's because the agenda-driven or whatever, probably agenda-driven. And I spoke to them, and they said, yep, that exists. That's happening, and it's great that you guys are going to be talking about it. We'll be listening in, so I passed some of my deets, so you might see them in the chats. So Armani's going to come on at the top, or actually, like I said, in the second hour of the Monday edition. But... So, I will say this: over the course of a few weeks, the topic of stolen valor has been growing, and I just want you guys to know that our buddy Anthony Anderson over at the Stolen Valor page, the Guardian Valor page, is back up, and so you need to hit them deets and check it out. The first story that he talked about, and we talked about this before I left, Congressman Niels. Matter of fact, let's see how the congressman is doing. Let's see what we got going on here with the old congressman. Niels. Let's see what he says. So everybody knows he's not authorized to wear. Well, I'll break it down. He's not authorized to wear the combat infantryman badge that he has on his lapel, or at least he's perpetrating as if he is wearing it. So, Congressman, if you're hearing this out again, we're here doing another call out. Let's see. Looking at his thing. Nope, it's oh, you guys know me. I'm gonna window cap this. So yeah, let me see. Let me get a look here. No, I don't see it. I don't see it. It's still there. So Congress and Nails, once again, we will be providing updates at every podcast, every show, if the format's correct, if it's appropriate to discuss. But that right there, he's still wearing the combat infantryman's badge. You see that? Yeah, it's up there. Yeah, look at that. See right there? Yeah, I see it. He's still wearing it on there, even though Anthony Anderson and the crew over, actually a few veterans, some researchers. As a matter of fact, one of them is going to come on and shoot the breeze with me about that, and also another veteran that we talked about, Steve Slanton out of Arizona. And so more updates, of course, on that. But yeah, still wearing it. I think I'm going to do this every day. Maybe we should have a countdown. You know how they have those safety offices that says how many days that someone there's not been an accident? Maybe we should have a how many days that someone's not been he's not supposed to be wearing the CIB. If you just take it off, dude, you'll be good. There'll be no issue, no drama, and we'll be veterans will get off your back. But being the fact that veterans, I'm gonna tell you what, we're critical on each other, man. We spot something like this, and immediately. Jim Laporta, Anthony Anderson, again, and others that were involved have posted. And he's been shit posting pretty good. He posted some. Let's see what he posted. He's been throwing some shit posts in there. Let's go back to the window cap. So here he is, shit posting on the president. Yeah, there you go. Since Biden took office, blah 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 blah. Right. So. Let's can we go and see her? Because oh, there we go. Look at that. Psh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. You got Funker 350. Oh, why do I keep saying 350? I botched an interview. I said 350 when it's 530. I don't know why I said 350. Sorry, Ronnie. Sorry, Josh. Sorry, guys. At Funker 530. I keep saying 350. So there's a couple podcasts that I was interviewed on that you may have heard me say 350. I'm sorry. It's 530. Funker 530. Why the fuck did I say it? Why don't you guys correct me? At any rate, so Ronnie over at Funker 530 has provided his comment. And I even said right there. What a ratio. Congressman Niels wears a non-authorized CIB 100%. We even got Army Reddit in there. Army Reddit even said, the entire time President Biden's been in office, Representative Warren an Army award, and he knows it's bullshit. How dare Biden do this? Frankly, I think Biden HQ should make this a major campaign issue, making up to fill police's behavior at billboards in all states. There you go. That's a good point there, Parker. Exactly that, PZ. PZ is in the chats. Our vendor, our woodworker. You should check him out. Follow him on the deets. Follow him on all social medias. He's the guy that all those cool-looking WTF Nation racks and all those great-looking epoxy woodwork that he's done. Great work, by the way. Said the same thing. Somebody really needs to sit the dude down and tell him about the cab. That it's okay to have a cab. It's not bad to have a cab. There you go. How about that? So I don't understand why he's not happy to wear it. He's a civil affairs. He was a civil affairs officer. That's kind of like about the badges that you can get, specifically in that field. Who's been quiet about it is his brother. He's got a twin brother, right? I'm really curious. I wonder what his brother says. I wonder if his brother, because me and my brother broke balls on each other and talked a lot of shit. So I wonder if his brother's like, hey man, take that shit off, because they were both in as well. So I don't know what is. I'm not gonna hunt him down or say something, but Parker, you bring up a good point. Why did he not just bring this up? Oh my God, Josiah, the expert soldier badge. I need to redo the skit. I was trying to record some stuff with Baby Eyes today, and for the expert action badge or expert soldier badge, because before it was going to be the expert action badge, and then it changed to the expert soldier badge. I don't know if it had something to do with the skit that we had. I don't know. Hang on, let me see. Let's see what was the skit do. Let me see.
WTF Nation Radio.
Here you go. Let me see. Hang on.
Hi, Lieutenant. How are you doing? Aw, did you find your land nav point, Lieutenant? Good job, Lieutenant. You get a
Expert Action Badge.
put on your uniform right,
Expert Action Badge.
show up to work on time,
Expert Action Badge.
qualify on your weapon,
Expert Action Badge. Badge of Action.
find your guidon.
Expert Action Badge.
That's right, just doing your normal warrior tasks and drills, you get a
Expert Action Badge.
Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
Shit in a bag, Pogue. Badge of Action.
The voice.
Anyways, you get the point. We need to do another skit, Josiah. Davey Ice is not participating very well. He wants to do his own records. He wants to record his own stuff. So, my apologies for that. But anyways, rates a cab. That's all he gets is a cab. I don't understand how come he doesn't want to wear what, exactly like PZ said. I don't know why does he not want to wear? Why does he not wear? Why does he wiener? Why does he not wear a cab? Why does he not wear a cab? You're authorized to wear it, Congressman. Wear that shit with pride. You earned a cab. Exactly as you remembered it. Well, awesome. You know, I'm thinking about doing a, like I said, I'm going to do the remake, see how that goes. And then we'll see what happens with that. So, at any rate, so yeah, he's authorized to wear it. He's authorized to wear the cab, and he's still sporting it. So every show that we do at the beginning of the show, it's going to be, I don't know how I want to do this. Do I want to do a countdown? How many days, 0 days since Congressman Niels have not taken off his CIB, or maybe do a count mount, or maybe do a Stolen Valor, and then just do it like that. And sponsored by Stolen Valor, Guardians of Valor by Anthony Anderson. See what he says. See if we do it like that. But anyways, so yeah, he's not authorized to wear it. Don't worry, we're looking at you, Steve Slanton, as well. We got those. Is it Slate? Someone said Slayton. So this is the guy right here. Window cap. This guy. Oh, bam. This is from Stolen Valor as well. Again, every show we will bust it out. Pew. He thinks he's SF, who's are eligible for a C. Oh, PZ dropping that drama in there. Parker out of the X app chats is saying he thinks he is SF, who are eligible for a CIB. Basically SF. Ooh. Let's not get in that argument about basically what, because I know the Cav got pretty butthurt, or infantry got pretty butthurt when that new message came out to have Cav scouts go to infantry. If you have jump wings, then you get to go. Automatic. So if you're a leg, sorry, you're in a Cav, you're in whatever. But if you're airborne, shit, you're basically infantry as a Cav scout. Okay, I'm just saying that. But at any rate, so anyways, there's Steve Slanton. Great write up again. There's even people who have protested. There you go. Bam. Trump store owner. Look at that. Grandma vets protesting Steve Slanton, candidate for LD7, Sholo, Arizona. Let's see what they got to say. Let's see this.
What he's doing. He slapped the faces of all those who died for this country by doing what he's doing.
So that's why you're protesting?
And that's why we're protesting. He slapped the faces of all those.
There you go. Lied about being spec ops. Lied about being a helicopter pilot. Spec ops helicopter pilots. No, there is spec op helicopter pilot. We won't say spec ops. I'm an 11 Hotel 1P, so basically special force. Exactly that. Everyone's basically special forces. Why not? Special forces tries to be everything else. So, but yeah, I went there. At any rate, so there you go. There's your two Stolen Valor comments for Steve Slanton, and there's your Stolen Valor comment for what's his name? Congressman Niels with his freaking. I still can't believe it. It's so obvious. Everyone's been telling this guy, hey, take that stuff off. You don't need to be wearing it. You're not authorized to wear it. So then take it off. And they don't take it off. Yeah, basically. Exactly. Okay, so the big hot topic tonight. The House passed. The House. Okay, it was the House. Don't freak out. This is not signed into law just yet. The NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. That means it's basically pretty much all the stuff that we have to talk about when it comes to how our defense is, the posture of our defense. The draft. Now, okay. When this passed while I was gone, I immediately got text a lot of information. Hey, is it true we're going to get drafted? Is it true it's automatic? Is it true this is going to happen? And is it true women are going to be in the draft? Yes, yes, and yes. There you go. That's what it is. But it's an automatic sign up to the Selective Service. That's what everyone thinks, that there's the draft and whatever. We have people that are posturing in Congress saying, "Well, we even carry around our draft cards." I'm going to tell you what. I am of age that I remember that there's no such thing. You have a Selective Service card. You sign up for the Selective Service. They give you like a postcard, and you put it in your personal records along with your birth certificates and passports and yada, yada, yada. And that's it. There you go. Oh, yeah, that's right. BAH is back at 100%. Yeah, exactly. So let's throw up some of the let's throw some of this up, man. People were freaking out. There's no way this draft is happening. This can't be. So, window cap. Let's window cap. Bam. The United States Senate Committee on the Armed Services. Let's see. Strengthen the joint force and the defense workforce. I'm just going to go ahead and skim across the top. Authorizes funding to support a 4.5 pay raise for the Joes, for the troops. Increases monthly base pay, of course. Amends the Military Selective Service Act to require the registration of women for selective service. Again, not an issue. Don't care. Everyone likes to throw the drama up and cry about. It's funny. It's the guys that were crying about, everything's equal, and then as soon as a woman gets in there, oh wait, come on, no, we can't have women in there. Look, they're joining and fighting and dying just like us, just like the men's, I should say. So let's let them in. Let's. There you go. Authorizes service members without dependents who live in a military unaccompanied housing to be paid higher rates than partial BAH. Now, here's the thing that kicks that I got a beef with the BAH stuff. If you're a soldier that you live in the barracks and you get paid BAH, that's an automatic scan that it's going to somewhere. No one can tell us where it's going to. Well, you can say it's going to government contracted housing or government contracted for whatever. But if a soldier's getting paid BAS, basic allowance for sustenance, and BAH, basic allowance for housing, then you should be given that to the soldier. It should not be given it should not be just given to somebody else. And for all the facts, for a matter of fact, for all that money that's leaving, that's getting taken out of BAS and BAH, why are the DFACs closing down? Why do we have kiosks? I'm anti-kiosk, by the way. I'm totally anti-kiosk. Why do we have to have that? Why do we have to? If the money's going to the DFACs, I don't care if 5 soldiers eat in there or 500 soldiers eat in there. It should be a badass restaurant. It should be the most ballerist chow hall on the planet. You should not have to deploy to get the best chow. It's right there in home station. Back we used to have contact. Oh man, so-and-so at this DFAC. And 92, we can't, PZ says we can't get 92 Golfs to join, which those are the cooks, the food service. I'll be honest with you. I think if we changed a little bit of how we changed how DFACs are run, then that's different. Man, I love the election years, always swinging the military plays right before they never. Taxation and taking BAS when there's no DFACs, it's theft. That's right. What do you hear? What do you say? It looks like the coaches in the chats. Yeah, I can see it. There you go. I don't think the money should go to anybody but the troop. BAS doesn't go to anybody. And if that's the case, then close the freaking DFACs down. Turn the DFACs into a giant kiosk. Turn it into a giant kiosk, and that's it, like a sandwich shop. And that's it. Just close the defects down. Close it down. But also make sure that they're available around for soldiers to get it, because a lot of soldiers coming in don't have cars. A lot of soldiers coming in don't have rides to get to a specific chow. So turn the chow halls. If I was king for a day, if I was Grand Admiral of the Army for one day, I would do that. Close it down. Close the defects down. Give the soldiers their full chow, and then have the cooks run in there. Small, shorter chefs and stuff like that. Turn the DFAC into an initiative with the 92 Golfs. I'm just shooting from the hip here, but I bet if you got the cooks some incentives and you sent them to the most ballerist freaking court, like send them to the best food. I'm not a cook, so send them to the best places, culinary arts, institutes, where some of they've produced the, where world-renowned chefs. Well, where do world-renowned chefs go to? They get trained. They have an apprenticeship program. They get schooled and all that. The same thing should apply to our cooks. We like to say in the Army that we're warrior athletes. Oh, wait, didn't we call that warrior restaurants as well? We like to say that. We like to say that the soldier is an athlete, or we're training the soldier to be an athlete. So why not do that? Why not have a what's that? That's because in the 1990s we privatized and said F the cooks. So you want to be a 92 Golf and not do your job and be a detail ranger? That's right. Agreed. Faye the Warlord in the X app chats is saying that. Agreed. Make it worth a cook to be a cook. They go to Fort Lee, but it's Fort Lee. Is that a top-notch facility? Because then when they leave, then Big Sarge gets a hold of them. Like Faye just said in the X chat. In the X chat, he said that they're not doing your job. They're not doing their job at all. So send them to a good. I'm not, Mike. I'm not beating up Fort Lee. I'm just saying they should. It's almost like, you notice how we have these officer programs and these officer fellowships. I always go back and forth with some of my officer friends that those fellowships should be afforded, should be given to the same. Joe should be given the same opportunity to go. They should be allowed to head those fellowships to go to whatever. Why is it that a kid that graduates West Point gets to, hang out for a year, or they find out they've been accepted to a fellowship at Oxford or a fellowship to another university? Why don't you put them down on the line? Well, why is it that a soldier that has exceptional talent, why are they not able to attend the said of fellowships for their craft, specifically 92 Golfs? Because other than that, you might as well just close the DFAC down. Being a 92 Golf is a lost cause in the military in general for many reasons. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I see. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They're provided a specific type of chow that they have to cook, and they're not given the right ingredients. Well, supposedly all that money that's supposed to be taken out of that for those soldiers, right, for BAS, is supposed to be given to the DFACs. You would think they'd be able to get some good ingredients. You would think they'd be able to have, shit, dude. I don't understand. I'm sorry, I'm making sense. I don't mean to make sense, but again, it should be like the most best restaurant on the planet if they're taking our soldiers BAS. If your soldiers are getting that money taken out, then it should be a badass, awesome freaking a dining facility. Or shut it down and turn it into a giant kiosk. May I give professional insight on the enlisted officer internships from one of my coworkers? Well, what do you got? What are you talking about? Yeah, exactly. They need to surviving the cut, 92 Golf. Yeah, they need to make it like, dude. They need to crush it. They need to do something. The same thing with BAS going to not BAS, BAH. Soldiers are being paid BAH for living in the barracks. Well, they should have the best fucking barracks on the planet. Where's that money going to? I don't want to go into the beer math that me and Spanky went to a few years back about. I think we said how many we labeled it down. We broke down the math. We were drinking that day. We were having some beer math, and we were talking about how many. So it was Fort Cavazos, and we were talking about how many soldiers stay in housing on Fort Cav when they survive. Surviving the cut, surviving the housing. How many soldiers stay in housing on Fort Cav? And of those soldiers, how much of that BAH is going per unit? When we use the average of a staff sergeant rank, because that was where we saw the most staying in there. So again, dude, this is not this ain't difficult. Make Gordon Ramsay a grill. Yeah. Army cooks receive their training at a 9-week AIT known as the Joint Culinary Center of Excellence and Fort Gregg Adams in Virginia. Yes, I know. But what I'm saying, though, David, is that where they go to after that, being, a chef is, and you just get the basics. You just get taught, but, some of those internships or fellowships, you get to flow with the pizzazz, the zest. You get to have the, you get to learn how to cook right. Don't do the standard. I guarantee it. And speaking with some 92 golfs that I know, some senior night and some logisticians, they tell me a lot of the menu stuff like that is totally blown out of the water when it comes to the Army. They don't listen to the Army. They don't. I guess they don't look at their menu cards or whatever. But yeah, they don't do that. Not at all. Establishes a commission on quality of life for all volunteer force to assess quality of life considerations for military and civilian workforces. Wow. Yeah. Where's my girl Heather at in the chats? Then we can talk. We can throw some comments in there. I know she's got something to say about this. Establishes a commission of quality of life for all volunteer armed force. Now look. Here's the thing. Is that when you establish a commission for quality of life, just like when you establish an outside agency to investigate sexual assault, there has to be some enforcement happening. There has to be change. You can have commissions and committees all you want, but if they don't do anything about it, then you're just blowing smoke and you're wasting people's paychecks. You're wasting taxpayer money. They go breaking out the MTATs when they need it. Yeah, exactly. Another. Gary's like another center of excellence. All right, let's see what the sports bar says. So the reason officers have these more often due to attrition rates in the old standard of completing a task, earning a college degree. Officers are required to have one, and many of the interns fellowships involve a completion of a degree, such as a standard to begin with. It becomes a population point at that point. So all the officers have at this point, at least an AA, for another year. Enlisted only need a GED. Pools for talents are predetermined. Right, okay. Well, I'll even add to that, too, their coach, sports bar is in there commenting. I'll add more to this, coach. How about we have, if a soldier has a basic GED or a basic high school equivalency, then they get, going through these internships, an AA. And continued certifications for spooning. Well, that didn't sound right. For cooking, because we call them spoons back in the day. For that gig, then they go ahead and get, if they're a master chef or they're whatever chef with an associates in culinary arts, then they get that fellowship to become to get a bachelor's in their studies, if that makes any sense. Authorizes increased funding to repair and improve enlisted barracks across the services. Now, every freaking time this happens, every time we see something like this, or we see money is being projected to this, we still see it in the news. It's like telling a soldier to file a missed meal when they didn't eat. The soldier's still hungry. The soldier's, soldiers got to eat. Soldiers got to want chow. So if he doesn't eat chow and you're telling the troop, hey, go file a missed meal. When you do a missed meal for him, well, sorry, I'm still hungry. I didn't eat breakfast and lunch, so I'm still hungry. Well, file a missed meal. And then what happens with that? 92, you only have one. Yeah, 92 golf is the only mess with a real job, and that's something that no one gets in the middle. I'm gonna tell you what, that's a good point. A shout out to the chow that sometimes that comes out of the defects are because of poor QA/QC of the food. Like when we post on Hots and Cots or when we post on the main page, and you'll see like food not cooked properly. Well, that's because they're not trained properly. or the rush of the mission, and commanders give ridiculous and unrealistic expectations for chow in the field, and that's why that chow looks like ass or whatever. Oh, the Community College of the Air Force does exactly what I just described. Well, there we go. There you go. Maybe you're right. Exactly that, David. Maybe we need to follow the Air Force model when it comes to chow, because I've never been to an Air Force facility that's had bad chow ever. Never seen it. Endless reports, surveys, sensing sessions. Exactly never amount to thing. Example for Sharp, same GOs and colonels are saying that they're going to listen. Are the same GOs that bought us hookers at Cobra Gold as captains. Damn, dude. You got hookers at Cobra Gold? I was gonna say never happens to Kim, but I'm not talking about that's human trafficking shit, right? So exactly that, Melicio. That's what I'm trying to say, man. It's unrealistic goals. Unrealistic goals that are provided to the mess sergeant, and the mess sergeant is given a specific task. Well, they don't have time to cook the chow. That same expertise, that would be like, see, and I see it this way, and everyone looks at me all weird when I see this. And thanks for the hookers, Michael McNally. I see it like medicine. I see it like sports medicine. I see it expertise. If a cook is telling me, if I'm a leader and a cook is telling me, hey, sir, or hey, Sergeant Major, or hey, First Sergeant, I can't get you this chow in this time because of food preparations have to be done at this time and this time. I need to count the hours and do my backwards planning in the wheel, the mess wheel there to get this, squared away. And there you go. The same thing like a doctor says you're on profile. Well, we also have commanders that don't listen to doctors. As a matter of fact, we in the chats right now, we're about ready to post a story, a shortage of medical providers, and we're gonna make a post and an NPR article. Now, look, I was just talking to somebody today, and I said, look, the reason why we post articles, there's going to be some articles that you're not going to fucking like where it comes from. Don't refute the facts. If these are the facts, like, look, I'll say it: Breitbart, NPR, Fox News, CNN. Some of the exposés that they do are not bad. And yes, we're even going to share a story from NPR and their story. But they're talking about is the lack of medical providers in some military facilities. Today we got a note talking about Madigan Army Hospital and how they waited for a couple hours to stay on the line and please press 2 for an appointment. Person presses 2. Nobody's available here to provide your assistance. Bye. After they waited 2 hours. Then they got a call back saying that in the cardiology department, they're not able to provide an appointment until the end of July. Now, as hard as it is to get these appointments, these are the same commanders that will tell you that you need to reschedule something for NTC, or you need to reschedule something for some European rotation or whatever. I never understood why everyone said, yeah, you're not going to deploy with all these numbers, so we're going to make everybody come. When back in, oh man, I'm sounding like this right now. Back in the day, back when I was in the service, damn it, Bobby, you had these guys just delayed showed up. They didn't show up until after their whatever treatment they had. If they had surgery, they healed. They got off there as soon as they were available to come off their profile recovery. Bam, they shipped into theater. Same thing with dental. It was pretty easy. Let's not even talk about behavioral health. Oh man, you must be reading my mind there, PZ. Let me look at my notes. Behavioral health, 45 plus days to get an appointment for behavioral health. Even though the Army, even though everybody else is talking about, 22 a day. Behavioral health, 22 a day. If you can get an appointment. Then what? Then what do we do at that point? So again, article's going to come out from NPR. It's going to get posted on the main page, and it's going to be discussing the lack of providers to service members at Marines, just basically across the DOD. So that's another thing too. So I see the same thing about defects. See the same thing about, barracks. If you wouldn't put your sergeant major or your general in it, then why would you put a private in there? Because you know what's going to happen as soon as you put a senior NCO or a field grade in some dilapidated buildings. Everyone's going to cry. First, the warrant officers are going to cry to the majors. Then the majors are going to cry when there's no room or something's dripping. And then the majors are going to cry because some of them will probably be XOs. And then they're going to demand that the CSM finds them a building with better facilities, but we'll put the Joes in there. Military Times did an article about it too, about the differences between the NDAA from the Senate Arms Committee. And just as the House narrowly adopted their version of the measure along party lines, 217 to 199 vote. So total defense spending, obviously we just talked about that. In the House, it's total it's $884 billion. And then the Senate bill comes across at $923 billion. Like I said, it's going back and forth, man. It's politics. All of us politics. Someone's going to ride something and say, hey, look, I want to have my bill for this or my bill for that. And I don't want this bill to happen because it's partisan and the Republicans are doing this and the Republicans do. We've never had a bill come across when it came to the troops that said, we're not attaching any riders to this. We're not attached. I've yet to see a good standalone bill where both sides have come across and said, yep, that's what we're going to do. This will be the one to do it. $3.1 billion was going to be going to military construction projects. But I want to see a by name list. We're talking about the commission for, was that Center of Excellence? Yeah, the commission for quality of life. I want to see where that money is going, those construction projects. Is it going to a new headquarters? What's that meme where you see that one family playing, that one parent holding up a kid in the pool and the other kid's drowning, and then the one, like the skeleton below, those are soldier barracks, the ones that are at the bottom of the pool that are all skeleton looking. So junior enlisted pay raises, we talked about that. They highlighted by a 15% average pay for E4 and below. Supporters say the move will raise basic allowances for all troops above $30,000. An adjustment meant to ensure military families aren't facing financial hardship. I can't know why I can't say that. But the White House is strongly opposed the targeted pay boost. Now, again, this is the White House. Shut up with your oh, you guys are talking about. This is the White House. The White House is opposing it. There you go. There's no. I'm not arguing with this. I'm just saying what's reported. Which could cost $3 billion next year and more $24 billion in the next 5 years, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Administration officials back a 4.5 pay raise across the board for all troops. But of course, everyone supports that. But advise waiting on an extra money for enlisted troops until next year, after the Pentagon study of compensation is complete. So that's the reason why they're stopping it. No, that's the reason why they're opposing it, I should say. Yeah, the crack house. Maybe we should do another meme. There should be another meme done, right? Enlisted barracks, right now, funding projects and stuff like that, and the kid drowning. Social issues. And floor, Republican lawmakers added the riders to ending the Pentagon's abortion access policy to troops stationed in states where the procedure is outlawed. It also includes provisions to freeze hiring for diversity jobs in the military, limit care for transgender troops, and bar discussion of radical gender ideology or critical race theory. Which I didn't know we were doing that. I didn't see no critical race theory stuff trending. I didn't see it posted in any of the. I have access to a lot of freaking files and online training and slides and all that, but I've never seen anybody talk about that. The $3.1 billion to Military Construction Center of Excellence and the Resiliency or something. $2 billion of that goes to SES and DoD civilian positions. $500 million to a study and $200 million to HR and online portals, and the remainder of contracts that never get finished. Dude, let's not even talk about online portals. AKO's been gone, and so now we're really flat dicking when it comes to what are we going to use to replace it. It's been bad. The move drew the ire of Democratic lawmakers in the House, many of them who backed the bill when it first came out in committee, but opposed it because what they call a tangential social issue. Tangential. Sorry, man. English is my second language. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Tangent. God, I'm all fucked up. I can't even pronounce that. Damn. Republicans did not need a Democratic support to advance the bill out of the House, but will need to reach a compromise, which won't happen, which will be. So, the draft thing again. Automatic. Tangential. Tangential. Yeah, tangent. No speaking English. Yeah. Tangential. That doesn't sound right. I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't understand what it means. I'm sorry. You threw me off the ledge there, bro. Faye the Warlord's got me there speaking English to me. I don't know what it means. So the Senate draft again to push the Senate includes a draft to push women to register for the draft. Now, we already have the selective service. 18 to 25 years old and live in the United States must register. That's everybody that's registering. That includes, oh man, do you look at my notes, Steve? U.S. citizens, U.S. born, do military and naturalized. U.S. citizens who live outside the country, and legal permanent residents and undocumented immigrants. Refugees and asylum seekers. Trans people who are assigned male at birth and people with disabilities. What is that for? The draft? How could you automatically register? Well, guess what? When you get that text message from USEREC, we post that too. We get that lone recruiter that texts you something and says, "Hi, would you like to join the military?" Or they go to your school and the school already has given up your information. They also have your social security number. All that stuff's going to be in play to activate your enrollment into the selective service. If you're already in, you don't have to worry about registering for selective service. Get that in the inbox too. Do you have to register for selective service once you join the military? No, because you're already in the military. You're already in. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. The women portion of it, yeah, you're in. It requires women now to register for the draft. I don't see an issue with that. I know back in my day, people are upset of seeing that. Hey, whatevs, man. That's you. You're going to have to deal with that. So, anyhow, let me see what's going on here. Let me see if I got so, anywho, so we're going to take. Hang on, let me put the camera on here. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to get Armani on here and do some sound checks and vid checks. Hey, thanks, Doc. How you been, man? And we'll be rocking the break here, and then once he gets on, then we'll be beginning the show. I'm really interested in this show, on this portion of the segment, because I've been waiting to. We were just talking about this in the chats, in the inbox, and then I said, dude, you just need to come on. And so now he's gonna come on and shoot the breeze, and we're gonna go over this discussion of long COVID. Hey, Doc, you're in there. You can make some comments in the chats too. What's up, Doc? I see you in the X app chats. So we're talking about a long COVID. So at any rate, so we'll be right back, and everyone refill your glasses, go take a leak, smoke them if you got them, and shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Nothing feels the same. Left it all behind. All you Trekkies and TV addicts, don't mean to this, don't mean to bring static. All you Klingons in your grandma's house, grab your backstreet friend and get loud, pulling doors off hinges, grab you with the pinches. And no, I didn't retire, I'll snatch you off with the needle nose pliers.
With the evil you never seen before, gliding in the glazing like gold green, like a racing with the bass, so not goofy like they're in a haste, so I'm a hip-hop making your night with practice me running that you know. Oh. Remain calm, no alarm, cause my form ain't fast, so what's up with that? I got friends and family that I respect. When I think I'm too good, they put me in check. Don't believe when they say I'm no better than you, except when I rap, so I guess it ain't true like that, Joel, and you just don't stop. Guaranteed to make your body rock.
Check it out. What's it all about? Work it out. Let's turn this party out. Check it out. What's it all about? Work it out. Let's turn this party out.
Say that was the condition. I'm a man that's on a mission. Son, you better listen. Stuck in your wall is an electrician. Like the scientist. When I'm applying this method of controlling my mind like ice on a rapid to comply. Now, hey, nigga, but now what the deal? I didn't know you go for that mass appeal. So I'm calling to Lucci. Some potato. I stole your mic, but you won't see it later. Cause I work magic like a magician. I add up the mathematician and the bank cashier. Engineer, I wear cotton.
In the whip, I'm gonna cruise past ya. Your money, don't jump yourself. Put that back on the shelf. Blazing, yeah, I'm phasing. My crew's amazing. We're working on the record, y'all, so just stay patient. Check it out. What's it all about? Work it out. Let's turn this party out. Check it out. What's it all about? Work it out. Let's turn this party out.
Now I go by the name of the King and Rob. I don't wear a cup nor a job. I bring the that's beyond bizarre, like Miss Piggy. I am the one with the clientele. You say at rock, you rock so well. I got class like pink champagne. Let's see it.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Well, I'm pretty geeked out because the topic of COVID
Yeah.
Like we were saying before in the green room, it gets people rattled. It gets people.
Yeah. They just shut down. As soon as you say COVID, it becomes a very emotional issue.
Yeah. And so Armani's here to talk to us about long COVID, and he's here to tell a personal story. So Armani, the floor is yours, man. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So just want to go over my professional history and then how I ended up getting COVID and long COVID. So I did about 7 years in the Army as an officer. I did my first half, my lieutenant years at JBLM with the 2nd Infantry Division, and then my captain years, I was in the 82nd Airborne. Around December 2021, January 2022, I went to work like we always do in the 3 shop, and I caught COVID. It was my second time getting COVID, and man, I developed a whole litany of symptoms that lasted about eight months to a year, but they weren't disabling enough where it stopped the progress of my life, right? So fast forward, I recover July 2022. I separate from the Army. I wanted to pursue something else. Got a gig in consulting at a healthcare company, and I'm helping folks out there, right? Around August 2022, I go to August 2023, I go to an Army buddy's wedding in Colorado, and I got COVID again. And initially it felt like a cold, like a really bad one, but I mean, who hasn't had a bad cold?
Right.
About a week after that, then my health started to deteriorate pretty rapidly. So I started with increases in heart rate where I'd be resting and my heart rate would spike over 180 every 5 to 15 minutes for 2.5 months straight, sleeping and all. I would lose like feeling in the right side of my face, heaviness in my right arm. Felt like I was having a stroke. I ended up going to, a litany of specialists all over. And they told me, hey, you just got to, work this out of your system. Like it messed up your immune system and it's going haywire. And you just got to remind your heart, like how it's supposed to function. Right. So I listened to them and, I did a lot of PT like we're used to doing. Right. And,
that's the 82nd part right there. If you got any problem, you just need more PT. If you got any problems.
Yeah, exactly. And before this, I was working out 4 to 6 times a week, man.
Oh wow.
So I'm waking up at 5 a.m. still doing it. I'd never thought I'd do that after I got out of the Army, but it was just the perfect time. But then it started impacting my lungs, so now I couldn't breathe. And again, I just kept pushing through because that's what they told me to do. Got to the point where I couldn't walk like a quarter mile. Around December, I built myself back up to like being able to row a little bit. And I did one rowing workout where I did about 40 minutes and I was like, I'm going to break through this wall. I'm going to fix myself. And I triggered something called chronic fatigue syndrome. And what that is, it's basically your body has issues producing energy. And no matter how hard you push, it just gets worse and worse. And so I ended up becoming bed-bound, apartment-bound January of this year. And I mean, nerve pain, you name it. There was a whole litany of symptoms of just, it's been very, very difficult, very debilitating, right? Mm-hmm. I decided to start advocating. So I spoke in front of the Lincoln Memorial about my experiences with long COVID. I've reached out to VA representatives and actually spoke to the VA here in Raleigh-Durham, where I live right now, and they agreed that it's an issue and that they don't have adequate processes in place for it. So here I am now. It's June, and I'm still working. I'm still working through these issues. My lungs are still messed up. I still deal with the chronic fatigue. I'm pretty limited on what I can and can't do. I've ended up going fully remote. And I mean, it's been hard, but I've decided I'm not going to let this stop me. Right. So I did get accepted to an MBA program at the University of Michigan.
Oh, awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. And I'm going to use that as a platform to continue advocating for vets and for people with long COVID. Because, man, as soon as I started posting my story, I was just getting so many vets hitting me up like, telling me these issues that they've been having, telling me that they don't have access to adequate care. And so it really inspired me and said, you know, this is a problem set that I'm going to devote my time and energy, no matter how limited it is, to try to bring about some positive change. So basically my goals right now are to depoliticize the illness, because at the end of the day, we're sick, man. And we just want adequate care. Right. To raise awareness for providers and patients, so providers can understand, okay, this is what my patients are telling me they're experiencing, and I am armed with the knowledge to say, okay, I can explore the option to say, maybe you have long COVID, right? Because there's no test to take that says, yeah, you got it. It's a process of elimination.
Yeah, I was about to ask. Go ahead, but yeah, I'll get into that in a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, on the patient side, it's how to self-identify and say, maybe this is something I have, because I've also been reached out to by dozens of individuals that say, I was wondering why I'm having these heart rate palpitations issues for years after COVID. I was wondering why I just don't feel the same. And so that being armed with that education allows them to advocate for themselves with their providers. And that brings me to my next point is I've seen 33 providers across 5 hospital systems in 2 states. You name the specialty, you name the test, I've done it. Through the VA and through private insurance. It's been very expensive, to say the least.
Now, has the VA? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you continue because I got the questions popping up. So I'm like,
man, you can interrupt me whenever. I mean, I can keep going.
Okay. Well, my biggest thing is that the VA, and for the audience, for you guys that don't know how me and Armani met, we met in the inbox at WTF Moments, and basically you were in there and said, hey, you know, I got this stuff right here. Can you check it out? And I was the one, hey, we'll pass it off to ICE and all that. I can't remember the specifics, but going back a little bit. But basically, I looked all over your stuff. And that at the same time, we had two inquiries in the inbox that asked about, hey, I thought the VA said that they were going to provide disability, or you allowed you to file for disability for COVID. And then another one was the lack of providers. And so that, dude, this kind of clicked, because at the same time NPR did an article about the lack of providers, at the same time we're still looking to find out what the VA's stance, or not stance I should say, but they haven't given an update on that. Yeah. And now it's been published that yes, it does exist. Did the VA give you any like this isn't a bash the VA session, but did the VA give you a like, yep, this is you got? I mean, was it easy for them to say, yep, you got long COVID, or did it take a minute for them to accept that?
So I tackled getting diagnosed with long COVID through the private side, and then followed up with the VA to get access to community care. So my thought process was, something's going on with me that's pretty bad. I need to get it at least identified quickly.
Right,
and then
right.
Once I have it identified, I can leverage the VA's resources. So once I was able to effectively convince my primary care at Duke Hospital here at Raleigh that I have long COVID, he referred me to the University of North Carolina's long COVID recovery clinic.
Okay.
And so I've been going to them since November 2023. And I went and approached the VA at that point and said, hey, this is what I'm going through. I need access. Frankly, I need you to pay for it, because I did get COVID during the service, and it brought about this type of illness.
Right.
And so they agreed. I mean, my primary care at the VA is great. He said he was working the COVID clinics during the height of the pandemic, and saw how frankly messed up some people could get with it.
Right.
And so he was like, yeah, man, whatever you need. So he referred me through community care and got me effectively funded, right, to go to the UNC's COVID clinic. Yeah.
That's awesome. Because, see, that's the stories that you don't, and everybody talks about the VA with their, the VA is preventing me from doing this. That's what I'm saying. I didn't want this to be a bash the VA a session. I just want, hey, look, if the VA is helping out, then you know what I mean? Then that's the angle. A lot of veterans get discouraged when you hear VA, and they want to go private when they're and you probably thought the same thing, like, oh God, here comes the VA. What am I going to do with this? And then, was there good? How do I say it? Was there good crosstalk between the two?
No, I wouldn't say that. Yeah. I would say that I would bring them what I needed, and then they would do with it what's within their power to help me.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now I will say that the standard of care. So what that means is what they can do for you when you have long COVID.
Right.
Is effectively treat your symptoms, because they don't know why it happened. They have ideas, but they don't know why it happens.
Mm-hmm.
There's a litany of symptoms that people experience. I think it's like over 200, but they're broken up into like some categories: neurological, cardiovascular, pulmonary, like your lungs, you can kind of like isolate and garner an understanding of like basically what a lot of people present in terms of symptoms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
we have people asking questions about sound. Susan says sounds a little bit like fibromyalgia too. Do you get flu-like body aches without a fever? Is that part of the symptoms for long COVID?
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I can go through my symptoms. There's a lot. So
yeah, go for it, man. Just to go over do a wave top, man, because there's some that may not realize that they may have it. And
yeah, for sure. So we'll start with my brain. So cognitive issues, issues focusing, brain fog. It frankly feels like you lose the ability to think at some points. Migraines that are, so painful. Sleep disturbances.
Oh, wow.
Night terrors, loss of feeling in different parts of your body. Nerve pain, really bad nerve pain.
I was about to say, is it like is it nerve pain to where you can't, is it like a feeling, a tingling? How would you describe that?
Burning. It's a burning sensation of just like really terrible pain. For me, it shoots down my arms and my legs, and it's, sometimes 9 out of 10 in pain. Really bad. POTS, so postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So what that is, it's basically you have heart rate fluctuations issues. So when you stand up, your heart rate will like spike.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay.
When you're eating, it'll fluctuate.
Well, see does also, I don't want to make a joke about it, but I'm old, man. Sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know if do I just want to.
Well, no, man, you'll know the difference.
Okay. Because sometimes when I'm moving around and I do something and I get up and I get a little lightheaded, oh man, I should have. And then I realize, maybe I should drink some more water instead of drinking all the coffee. So I'm just, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say the process of elimination must have been pretty tough. What was their, what was the checklist for all this stuff?
Man, they test me for everything under the sun, from cancers to different types of like adrenal issues, and you name it. Imaging tests, MRI, CT scan, X-rays of the brain, heart, lungs. You name it. Various blood tests that I couldn't even tell you. I have a binder about this big, just like chronologically ordered.
Yeah, but I bet, man. It didn't. Now you got out of the military natural. I should say, like I don't want to say normal because we're not. Okay, I'm trying to say this. You got out just like ETSing, right? You just got out.
Yeah, I just.
So none of this was medically related. None of your exit was not medically related, as a matter. It was
no, I didn't get med board.
You didn't get med board. Okay.
No, I did not.
And so, what field were you while you were in? What was your?
I was field artillery.
Ooh, man. Okay. All right. So did anybody say anything about, hey, maybe it was the dust or maybe it was the gunpowder? Did they try to connect it to that?
No, nothing like that, honestly. Gotcha. But let me just go back to my symptoms. So
go for it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go for it. Yeah, I'm all over the map too. So brain fog. Sorry.
Chronic fatigue. So like that's where you're tired to the point where like you feel that full body fever, like feeling.
Right.
That just gets so bad that I had issues getting out of bed, walking. At this point, I don't walk more than half a mile. If I do, I usually have to sleep like 3 or 4 hours. Breathing issues, I mean, it feels like I'm being choked all the time. It's called dyspnea. So I have like air trapping in my lungs from inflammation. Sharp searing stabbing pain under my right rib. Couldn't tell you why. And I think that's probably all of it. That's it. Just that.
It's making me interesting to think about. You're making me want to stretch.
Paresthesia. That's the last one. Paresthesia. So you ever take pre-workout?
No.
The beta. Okay.
I'm high energy already as it is, so it's like.
well, for your viewers, that beta alanine feeling, where you have like that fire ant sensation throughout your torso and stuff. I get that when I have heart rate fluctuations as well.
On that note, though, you were talking about, are you able to, like, what's your muscle mass like? Do you retain muscle mass? Are you able to at least work out to gain muscle mass or to get toned up? What's that?
So I've been trying everything, man. Acupuncture, red light therapy.
Right.
I tried different types of working out. Once I pushed my body to try to like fix it with that rowing exercise, at this point, if I exert past a certain amount of energy, doing anything intellectually, physically, whatnot, I'll have what's known as a crash, chronic fatigue crash. Basically, migraine, full body ache, bed bound, and suffering. So, which sucks because I've been working out since I was 12.
Yeah.
And it was a coping mechanism for me. It's something that I thoroughly enjoyed and I loved. Hit the 1,000-pound club finally after I got out, and I was so excited. I don't touch anything anymore. I'm trying to like do some light bands, but I've deteriorated to say the least.
Now, did they say did any through your going through the long COVID clinic and all that, has any medical professionals, have they given you like because this is new, so we've not had any long-term studies yet on what the end prognosis is, but what have they told you? Is this something that you're going to have forever? Is it going to deteriorate you continuously? Is it going to cause another ailment? You know what I mean? Is it going to cause COPD? Is it going to cause cancer? Is it going to what ALS? So what did they get into any of that, or have they talked about something like that?
Yeah, I think it's the first thing everybody asks when you go to those clinics because you're so desperate.
Right, exactly.
Frankly, to be honest, I can definitively say I've never suffered more in my life than with this illness. And so I was definitely hoping for good news. They said effectively there's no viable treatments right now. We can treat the symptoms. We don't know if you'll have this forever or if you'll recover, because they've had folks recover after a year, but then they have on the opposite end folks who have not recovered, and it's been like 4 years because they were one of the folks that got it in the beginning. So they don't know. There's some studies that say, increased risks of cancers and stuff like that. To be honest, I don't pay attention too much to that because if it happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, just for the whole COVID discussion in itself, I've said we've WebMD'd ourselves. You stub your toe and you look up WebMD and it says you're going to die of cancer. You know what I mean? So that's we've WebMD ourselves so much when it comes to COVID that now it's so many freaking. You're like, God, dude. So I was just curious. I was just curious because, at this point, just the acknowledgement of long COVID, that right there to me, I thought was a big step.
Yes.
And so when I spoke, like I said, it was only a 20-minute talk when I spoke to this infectious disease doctors, and I was like, "Whoa, let me ask you about this." And there, I said, "Hey, I don't want to be nosy, but is the guy going to be okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, blah blah blah," but he's got long COVID,
it's nice to hear that, because I will say when you're chronically ill and you're isolated away from society. I mean, I live in downtown Raleigh. I see life going outside my windows all the time. And having an illness that's so like controversial and polarizing and stuff, is for lack of a better term, really like, shitty.
Well, yeah, because if you talk about it, then people are going to say, well, maybe if you just didn't do this. I'm like, no.
Maybe if you didn't take that.
Yeah, maybe if you didn't. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And Go ahead. No, I'm just going to say that's the argument that starts more arguments. You know, you're at that point, you're like, dude, the Mayo Clinic has said long COVID exists. So let's focus on that. And then we could fight the drama later on the other shit, you know?
Right. I'm going to tell you an anecdote that's really going to drive home like how polarizing it is. So at some point a few months ago, I mean, I was like pretty desperate to get the word out. So, you know, I was wearing some paraphernalia that said like, you know, long COVID awareness, right? That I got from that rally that I spoke at. And I felt good enough to finally leave my apartment after a month of not leaving my apartment, except for going to doctors. And I go to like a supermarket to go get my wife like something to eat. And this gentleman comes outside and he looks at me and he sees what I'm wearing and he said, "That's not real." And then he spit at me. And I mean, I was barely functioning at that point. I was like, all right, man. And I, you know, like lost cause, right? I'm gonna push forward. But that shows how polarizing this issue is.
Yeah. Oh,
you wouldn't do that to somebody who has cancer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or something else.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and what's really some of the stats that I was looking at. I mean, when me and you were talking in the inbox, and I did more research on it because, like I said, you know, because I wanted to prep for you to come on. But again, it was just. I mean, with these guys had to been working for the CDC because when they were telling me, you know, at the airport. And I was just like, man, and I don't want to say I didn't trust him, but I was like, I got to Google this myself, you know?
Yeah, no, it's very important, right?
Yeah. And so this, I mean, the CDC gets a lot of flack, but the CDC admitting to it, the Mayo Clinic, Forbes, you know, a lot of, you know, I don't want to say Forbes is not really a medical journal, but, you know, they've reported on it. Forbes wouldn't stake their rep on that. But women, Latinos, people who've had like really bad cases of COVID and already underlying health conditions, it's already there. I mean, you're the, I don't want to say you're a walking time bomb, but it's those factors in. I mean, you're Latino, you're not a woman, but you had a pretty bad COVID experience, and you know, you don't have any underlying health issues already. So I'm just glad that now we're seeing it being recognized, and no shit. Coincidentally, it was like a no shit. I'm sitting there on my phone just going over memes and stuff, and then I hear, you know, "Hey, can you hear us?" And I'm like, kind of looking over my shoulder. "Hey, yeah, what's going on? How you feeling?" And the guy said, "Yeah, I'm like this. I'm lethargic. I'm blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know if I feel good, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, you know, that's one of the things about having long COVID and blah, blah, blah. Then I'm like, I'm kind of like, I don't want to hear, I don't want to be nosy, but, you know, sorry about your friend. And it's their colleague. And then I go, you don't mind me asking, are you guys, you know, doctors? And they're like, "Oh, we're infectious disease doctors." I'm like, "Oh, well,
so, you're the guys."
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what are you guys trying? I mean, I was going to say, here's my card. Do you guys want to be on a podcast? You know, I don't want to get them on there to whatever. I kind of look back and I was like, man, I should have taken their information, but the addition to, the discussion, that's the thing I want to talk about as well. Is you went to a rally, and tell us about the rally.
Yeah, so
not Raleigh, North Carolina, but the rally that you did.
Yeah, so it's done annually in Washington D.C. And it's the long COVID awareness demonstration. I think it's like March 15, 2024. I think. Double check me. It's definitely in March.
Let me check it real quick. Continue talking. I'll Googleize it.
Yeah. But basically it's folks that have traveled from all over the country, from all different demographics, political leanings, whatever, what may have you, who got together. I'd say it's about 50%. The folks with long COVID, 50% are caretakers. And then cheered on by like folks who can't even get out of their apartments to advocate for themselves. Because how do you advocate for yourself if you can't even like, you know, leave your place?
Right, exactly.
Long COVID survivors, activists.
I mean, they were speaking, and some of these folks have had long COVID for like 3 years, 4 years already, and they are just angry,
right,
to say the least. And that guy. And so they were expressing themselves. They were expressing their political views. They were expressing their frustration and their pain and all that. And I saw it and I was like, wow, man, like I need to talk. I need to give my perspective because frankly, when you hear about long COVID, right, you hear, at least I used to hear was, oh, it predominantly affects women, people with, comorbidities who aren't healthy, and all these factors, right? And so I would hear about it, ironically, because one of my best friends, his sister worked at the Johns Hopkins one, and she told me about it in 2021. I was like, that's absolutely horrible anyways, and I continued with my life as we all do.
Right.
And I was like, that's not going to happen to me, right? And then it did. And man, I decided, well, I'm a vet, I'm male. I still had some residual muscle at the time from working out. And I was like, I mean, I should tell my story to show that if it can happen to me, it can happen to you, your friend, your kids, your parents, whatever. And wouldn't it be a shame if you get it somewhere down the line and there's still no viable treatments for it and you're still socially isolated and you're stuck, right? And so that's part of why I like to I try to advocate for like research funding, right? There's so much discourse about how this came to be, but the fact is that it exists, right?
Right.
And so it's here and there needs to be something done about it. So I think many of us think, right, that it'd probably be in our best interest to advocate for some funding to at least come up with some viable treatments or maybe a cure, fingers crossed, so that if you get it in the future, you're not stuck, on the sidelines, losing your job, losing your friends, your family, because you're socially isolated, losing everything that you built, and then realizing that there's nothing in place to even get the gears moving to find something to fix this, which is, where frankly a lot of us are right now. And so I know realistically that it's going to be 5-10 years from this point, assuming they start, relatively soon,
of course,
to find something viable. And I understand that and I accept that. And, we all hear about like the plague back then, right? Or something horrible. And you think, and you imagine yourself of like, what would I have done during that time? And you never really factor like, would I be one of those folks who, got a plague or had some misfortune happen to them that is so prevalent in history, right? Because that's not going to happen to me. But at the end of the day, we all need to realize that it's a numbers game and sometimes you draw a bad lot. And when you draw a bad lot, hopefully there's resources for you to like live your life.
No, you said it right. At the end of the game.
At the end of the game.
You said it right because everyone's got their own game to it. Yale, it was funny because I was some of the research that Yale Medicine posted. They talked about autoimmunity. Now, did any of this affect your like? Now, how does this affect it? Has it now made you an autoimmune status? Like, can you now? Can you not? How do I say this? Do you have to wear a mask? Do you have to change some of your habits because now you're considered autoimmune compromised, right? According to this. Yes. And so, and that's just one of the things that I saw that when Yale published that, and I was like, oh, so now it's an autoimmune syndrome type. What precautions do you have to take now for that? What do you have to do on your? I'm speaking specifically to you, but what do you have to do now?
Yeah. Well, first I'd say I was always a very social person, and man, talk about a lifestyle change, right? So I'm very cognizant of, how many people I'm around. You almost develop like a type of agoraphobia where you're like, man, like it's not worth it. Like I'm not going to go out. Because even the UNC COVID Recovery Clinic was like, don't get it again. Like do everything within your power to not get that or any other like virus like RSV or anything like that. Because it's going to be, it could not do anything or it can make you significantly worse.
Right.
And I've met folks who like were at kind of my stage of where it sucks, but like you're getting by to like you're bed bound 23 hours a day. Because they happen to catch it again. So I do wear a mask when I go out, frankly, just because I don't want to risk it. life's been pretty hard, and I'd rather not have it become harder. But then that always becomes a debate of like, you're not going to make me wear a mask and all that stuff out of society. And to that I say, like, personally, right, there's varying views on this, but personally, I don't care if you wear a mask or not. I don't care if you're vaccinated or not. I'm just doing what I can within my bubble to like keep myself going, because I still have goals that I'm trying to accomplish and a life I'm trying to live and a family I'm trying to support. And so I just take the precaution. And if you're around me, you don't feel like doing it. I mean, I'm not gonna get up in arms about it and say, you better wear one. Because frankly, I think we're past that point of the conversation. I'm thinking about feasibility. We have the problem set of long COVID exists. Our end state, right? Our end goal, right, should be development of viable solutions or cures for this illness. And so, I mean, let's bring MDMP in it. What are our key tasks? And I don't necessarily think causing more polarization is worth it.
No, you're right. And most of it with you, like for your case, you're exercising a choice for you, just for you. Yeah. And I don't think, I'm pretty sure that some individuals, and this was before COVID broke out, wore masks anyways when they were autoimmune deficient, and that was normal. It was not uncommon to see people wear masks back in the day when they were going through cancer treatment or going through chemotherapy or going through, or they had COPD, or they were walking around with oxygen bottles or something like that. It was not uncommon to see that. So I think you're right. I think it was the polarization of the topic itself that added to the drama of whatever. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't like crowds anyways, and I don't have long COVID, so I mean, it's kind of like, I don't like this, too crowded. I'm not going to show up. I'll just hang out on the fringes and drink my beer on the side on the picnic table and watch everybody make fools of themselves type thing. So, but you're right. You especially if you have a very social or outgoing lifestyle, this is a significant change. What about your family? I mean, has your family had to make adjustments as well, or what have they done to help out?
Yeah. So, first, my wife, man, I mean, she stuck out the military with me like a trooper, and she had just got into was about to get into her last year of like a master's program for, she was a speech language pathologist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, very intensive curriculum. I mean, she was working 14-hour days when I got sick. And for lack of a better term, man, I was useless. I took extended leaves of absence from work, which I was crushing before, I was up for promotion and everything.
Right.
Housework, like your daily like tasks to do around the house, couldn't do it, couldn't get it out of bed. We have 2 dogs. I mean, I couldn't take care of them. So she transitioned from not just being a student, but to being a caretaker of somebody who is violently ill, for lack of a better term. And it's been very hard, to say the least. I'm very blessed to have ended up with her as my wife, because frankly, I don't think a lot of other contenders would have survived. And it's still a struggle. There's still a lot of things that I can't do.
Oh, I'm sure.
So that's what she's done. And of course, just support me, frankly, mentally, because I mean, talk about deterioration in your mental health when you're socially isolated and you're in pain and discomfort 24/7, and all the other implications of this illness. And so that's my wife. My mother is a nurse, so she has been very nervous and very worried. She's flown multiple times over, taken extended leaves of absence to effectively care for me when I was at my worst. Tried to coordinate to get me into different specialties to figure out, I traveled more for doctors than I ever did for leisure, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure, because then they all... I could be frustrating sometimes having to repeat the same story over and over and over again.
I'll tell it all day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got your family in there, you can hey, batter up, you're next. You can tell the story. But having your family with you, has it given you a better purview? Like has opened up your aperture a little bit to say, you know what, I didn't think about that, or I didn't.
Yeah.
Has it helped a lot?
Yeah, I would say so, especially having a family member in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us, it's called medical gaslighting, is like a popular phrase for it, where you go to ERs, go see specialists, and you're explaining your long COVID symptoms, but your blood work is coming back weird, but not like dangerously weird. And then they look at you and they're like, you're probably just anxious. You're probably, depressed. And, that happened to me the first time I went to an ER. He came to me. He's like, man, you were in the Army and now you're a consultant. You probably just need a break. And I was like, all right, man, like you're the doctor. I went home 2 days later. My heart rate went over 180. And
you just need to take a knee and drink some water there, Airborne. You need to
rub some dirt on it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And sorry.
I don't want to make you laugh too much, man. You're coughing.
No, you're good. That was good, man. And so having somebody come and help advocate for me,
right,
who's in the healthcare space, was very important, because if there's something I've realized navigating the U.S. healthcare system is you have to advocate for yourself. If you just show up and you take everything they tell you at face value, I mean, it's a revolving door, man. It's a business. You're going to come in, get seen, get checked. Nothing too crazy. I'm not too worried. Here's some medication for the symptoms. Out the door you go. And so it's about engaging in that discourse and that conversation with your providers to say, no, there's something wrong. And I need your help in figuring it out.
I know what you're saying. I suffered through the same Womack butcher factory that you probably went through for some of my injuries. When the doc said, no, that didn't happen, it's probably this or probably that. And you're like, no, dude, no, some of that advocacy is, you had, like you said, you have to be your own advocate. You have to be your own health advocate. At what point during all this, at what point did you get some serious pushback? Like did somebody, and you don't have to name names, but was there a roadblock or a brick wall that somebody kept hitting you with that was trying to debunk you?
Yeah. So I would say every time I went to ERs for the first 2 months, because I went to ERs about 8 times, 3 by EMS. There are a few times where, I mean, God's honest truth, I thought I was dying.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about medical trauma. Sorry.
You're good.
So I'd go to these ERs and they would just say the same thing. Like, we don't know what's wrong with you, man. Like, you sure it's not anxiety? And then eventually I did get like, I don't know if there was like an influx of people dealing with it at these emergency rooms. Cause I was like bouncing around. I was like, no, I'm not going to that ER anymore. I'm going to go to this one or that one or whatever, contingency plans. And finally, I used all of them up and I'd have to go back to one of the previous ones. And they eventually were like, no, you might have long COVID. Here's a printout. And the printout effectively talked about the University of North Carolina's long COVID clinic.
Right.
And they're like, you need to go there because we can't do anything for you. We don't know how to help you. And so that kind of sparked something in my head where I was like, well, maybe there's an influx of people dealing with this for them to now suddenly have this paper that says, go to this clinic, right? Because nobody's going to go through the effort, of establishing a referral system unless there's a need for it, right? And so that's once every ER. And then my one of my primary cares on the private side, very intellectual doctor, very motivated, ran so many tests on me. He was a relatively new doctor, and would spend an hour and a half talking to me, which is rare for a lot of doctors. And he wasn't seeing it until I started pulling research articles from Europe. It was a specific one from Amsterdam that I showed him, and he was like, okay, yep, all right. And then he started doing research about it. And the next appointment when I went to go see him, he was like, yeah, again, I can't help you, go to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that took 4 months. 4 months.
Okay, I was about to ask what the timeline was on that.
Yeah.
Oh man, did
4
it?
months in the States.
Did they? Has anybody? You know, you bring up a good point there. You brought up an outside source. Has anybody said go outside? Like, has any outside out of CONUS?
Oh, you mean, okay. I thought you were like, yeah, go get some sun, which I have been told that.
Really?
I was like,
whoa.
I was told, have you tried like vitamin D? You should go get some sun.
and these were doctors that were probably saying you need to mask up, you need to get the vaccine, you need to get this. This is now they're doing the essential oils thing on you. So did anybody say, hey, maybe you should go overseas, or we have a program overseas? That anybody talked about sending you off to get some tests there?
So we talk about, and I'm going to answer that question, but we talk about having to advocate for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so many of us are so sick we can't do that.
Right.
And so where can we advocate for ourselves or communicate? Frankly, it's the internet. So there's a Reddit group called COVID Long Haulers. It has like 60,000 people in it from around the world. To include a lot of medical providers that I've met, they're like, yeah, I go on that all the time to see what people are talking about. And one that's worrying that, you know, doctors go to that as a source of like, you know, putting feeling the pulse of a specific demographic of people who are suffering.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just lack of, there's just that much of a lack of access to us. But there's people from Europe, Asia. I mean, you name it. And they're constantly talking about what's going on in their country, what drug trials, what clinical trials, and there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, there's nothing. I've scoured the depths of the internet. Many of us have, where you're just, I mean, I was up all night just looking for a cure, man. Like, I'm going to find it. I'm going to discover, you know, I'm going to go to like some corner of the earth to find something that to make me feel better or something. And no, frankly, there's nothing.
Yeah. I was saying is because I don't want to get into Hollywood, and I don't want to get into the way that Hollywood does stuff. There was a movie with Sean Connery, and he went out to like the jungles of South America to find a cure for cancer. And I was just wondering if somebody asked, have they sought? That's my question there, David. You beat me in the chats. Has somebody, you know, did the holistic medicine treatment? Like, has anybody? Is there any?
I tried that too.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody says, hey, you need to drink a couple teaspoons of, you know, goat's horn or something like that, and or you need to drink this tea or whatever. Has really?
I've tried everything.
Really?
I've tried everything. I've done acupuncture. I went to holistic clinics and tried teas. At one point I was going to acupuncture twice a week. I had hundreds of needle marks in me. You'd think I was like
using. You're a heroin addict.
That's where I was going. Yeah. I've tried a needle electric stimulation therapy where they run electrical currents through the needles. I've tried massages. I've tried various types of tea from Asia, Africa. I mean, you name it, man. I've tried it. I've spent thousands out of my pocket. I think I'm like 15 grand out of pocket right now for this. Just trying it, and no, unfortunately not. Some of it helped. I'd say, I don't know how it works. Acupuncture helped a little bit, at least for a few hours, to make me feel all right. Because there was a period of time where, frankly, every second of every day was agony in some way. And so it would provide me some relief, at least temporarily. But that's it. I mean,
somebody I got another, hey, don't post this, don't post my name, don't say where I'm posting this from. Somebody's asking a question. Did you try any CBD or THC or cannabis stuff to help?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Okay.
So, yeah, hell yeah. I actually, for the nerve pain, the CBD, I take some of that, and it helped.
Okay.
So that's it. Honestly, you could have told me to try anything, and I probably would have done it.
I was about to say, yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm the same way. I mean, there's people who have sought out, holistic treatments for aggressive cancers or something like that, and they
Lyme disease,
or Lyme disease, or lupus, or and they'll try anything at this point just for. And like I said, the person that sent me that message, there's your answer. I'm waiting for another and see if they come back.
Open book, guys. Like honestly, nothing's a stupid question for this, and I'm not going to judge or anything. I've received some questions before where, I mean,
can you get CBD THC edibles where you're at? You're in North Carolina,
so THC is illegal here in Raleigh, but CBD and like Delta 8, Delta 9 is not.
Okay.
I will say that I can only do like CBD, like nothing that gives you any high, because at this point I'm like hypersensitive to like medications and any, like I don't drink alcohol anymore. I don't drink caffeine anymore. No nicotine. I'm just out here like doing it raw.
No, yeah, no, I hear you. Is it when you do CBD and Delta 8, is it, how long does it last for pain management?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't touch the Delta 8 for this because I mean my heart rate is not consistent. It's going to go all over the place. The CBD, it lasts like a few hours. I'd say 5 or 6 if I'm having like terrible nerve pain. I popped one 3 weeks ago. I got like, I think a cold or something. And man, it must have sparked something because the nerve pain was out of this world. You would have thought that like somebody was cutting the insides of my arms. I'm going to be honest, I was almost crying. Like it was really bad. And I popped the CBD and it went away for a few hours. Came back, but
yeah. How much do you normally take? What's the milligram dosage?
I don't know, to be honest. Maybe like 10 milligrams.
You're a noob. That's what it is. You're a noob, but you don't know. It's always funny when somebody's talked about pain management and all that. Has the VA tried to prescribe you any opioids for pain management?
Not opioids. I was prescribed for Cymbalta for the nerve pain, which is a SNRI. Had a horrible reaction to that. I lost the ability to think, which is weird if you've ever experienced it. My heart rate and my blood pressure spiked super high. I was sweating profusely. And I even forgot my wife's name. I mean, that's how bad it got. I was very confused throughout the night. Ended up going to the ER because my heart rate went up to like 180, 190 in the morning. So that's I haven't touched that since, to say the least.
How has it been for your behavioral health? Good interview. So
yeah.
So mental health wise, I guess that's
yeah.
How has long COVID affected?
So this is a rough one. So it's been hard, to say the least. I decided a few months ago that I'm going to be toxically positive and just persevere regardless of it. But I mean, I frankly have never experienced the depth, such dark depths, man, to say the least. I called, those hotlines and all that a few times when it got really bad. I'm not ashamed to say it. It's been very hard, to say the least. Thank God for my wife.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
and all that.
That's that. I was about to say that's the network. How has your network been? Is it growing because of your advocacy?
Not as much as I'd hope. Again, whenever I do any type of advocacy work, sometimes there's pushbacks, even though I'm pretty you can't tell what side of the political spectrum I'm on. I'm very political in my approach. And so sometimes I just get told that, you're an effing liar, whatever, all that stuff, which is going to happen.
Of course.
But I think there's a barrier to growing your network when you're advocating for COVID, because as soon as you mention COVID, people glaze over and they don't want to hear it. I mean, that's yesterday's news. They feel great. They're living their lives. And I understand because, I was guilty of doing that too. Where you're like, wow, that really sucks. Somebody should probably take care of that.
Right.
Now look at me now. Now I have to take care of it.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So that's one of the reasons why I really gunned to go to this MBA program at the University of Michigan. because I'm going to focus on healthcare and try to use them as a platform to ruthlessly advocate and reach as many people as I can.
I like your toxic positivity is what I'm talking about. I'm the same way, man. Patrick in the chat says, do you have any lasting strange side effects like the loss of taste or smell?
No, I never had any of those.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Everything else is strange. I'll tell you that, though, Patrick.
I was about to say, how does it happen? Like, if you're, like, can you eat like a burger or something like that, and your gut's okay, or how does that?
So there was a period of time where when I would eat food, I would get like this vasodilation is what I think it is. So like I'd feel like my neck is going to explode, where I would just get pressure right here that was really, really intense. And I would get like a heavy feeling in my right arm, and I'd lose sensation in my right arm. They couldn't really explain what that was, to be honest. They just said maybe it's vasodilation, maybe it's like my nervous system freaking out. Who knows?
So from Mystery Chat, are you considering advocacy for CBD, THC to treat long COVID?
I mean, I would say my goal is the four, right? Depoliticize the issue, provider patient education and awareness. I have to write it down. Disability benefits for long COVID.
Right.
And then promoting research funding. So for THC, CBD, honestly, I mean, when I would travel to Colorado post-Army, where I was not in the IR, not in the reserves, not anything, not associated with the military anymore. I mean, I did enjoy, THC at times.
You enjoyed the edibles because I'm pretty sure your lungs wouldn't be able to handle the smoking it. You had to...
well, this is pre-long COVID.
Oh,
pre-long COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. So you were waving that DD-214 around, and you're like, hey,
you say it when you're on your way out, and
everyone says it. Everyone says, even senior leaders that I know that retire. I want to smoke. I'm going to take some edibles or something like that.
I know a brigade commander, ex-brigade commander, who has his, brownies every day. So I'm not opposed to anything that helps with the symptoms of long COVID. I don't think it's a cure. I think it helps for some folk.
Right. What about, have you considered psychedelics?
Yeah, I have.
Mystery Chat.
I've considered, I've looked into, psilocybin or anything like that. To try to help. I've asked, not that it's a reputable source, but the Reddit. I've actually met up with some of those folks to talk. Gonna be honest, probably not gonna try it out. There's not enough information about it. But if it comes into, a few years from now that it helps, I'll hop right on it. No hesitation.
Right. That shit scares me, man. The thought of
it scares me too.
It scares me too. It scares me because I'm a visual person, and so I mean, you watch scary movies or something like that, or you watch movies about somebody going through that, and you're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that crap. What are you trying to do? I'm not doing that at all. So. But anyways, it was just considered going to additional lab research. No, he's already seen a specialist, or he's already seen.
I've seen every specialist.
Okay. Yeah, and then is your MBA program is COVID, long COVID related?
My MBA program is healthcare.
Okay,
focused.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm trying to get into big companies that did a lot of work during the pandemic, and maybe I can hopefully start something there. But my end goal, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, this is for me. Speaking of which, has Big Farm asked you, hey, has Big Farm been involved? Hey, we want to help you with this, or have they provided any testing? You want to be part of a test program? Have they come out to help you out in that aspect? I should say.
Yeah. So I've looked at a bunch of clinical trials and applied to them, but they're being very selective with who they let in.
Gotcha.
There's a big one right now called Recover that's pushing a lot of that's recruiting effective, but they're very selective. They're still picking participants even now. There was a few clinical trials for what's that Paxlovid, which is antiviral. There's a bunch of stuff out there.
Okay.
I'm sorry, not a bunch. There's a few things that are out there.
Yeah. Oh, no, but I mean, in the conversation of COVID, it's a lot, considering for what's out there. Because then it gets into the political side when you start talking about ivermectin and Paxlovid, and then people are like, you're just that gets into another. That gets
just
into
complete shutdown and
that's Holly, are you being funny? I was told to turn it into a glass of orange juice. I never tried it. Have you ever heard for PTSD? And it's a great restart. I think you're talking about psilocybin, Holly. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, psilocybin.
Psilocybin that people.
Yeah. I've talked with people who have tried it for long COVID, and it didn't turn out too hot.
Gotcha. Okay.
For them.
Okay.
I don't know how much longer we have. I know you wanted to talk about the disability.
Yes.
stuff.
Yes. Yeah. We can go over. Yeah. We're past our time, but we can go over time. I'm the boss. We get to do this. So
good.
Let's get into the disability side of this stuff. Yeah. What's next? What's the VA side of this for you? I should say what you're going through and what you're experiencing.
Yeah. So I talked to a whole lot of vets who are dealing with this, and frankly, not a whole lot out there, right? So they go to their VSOs, and frankly, not a lot of help. They'll go to their primary cares to get a nexus letter or something of that nature, and very hesitant to even have the discussion, right? So I'd say that's definitely a barrier of entry. The other thing is that when you go to file a claim for your VA benefits, it's not like you can put long COVID, because there's no selection for that. So you're claiming individual symptoms versus long COVID. I worked with the Wake County VSO here at Raleigh when I was really bad, man. I went the first time, and I was so symptomatic I couldn't even form a conversation with her. Had to come back at the end of the week with my wife to help me out. That's how bad it was. And I was the second or third person that she'd talked to regarding this issue. But here's the part where it gets really messy. So you submit it, what's going to happen, right? They're going to get with the VES and they're going to schedule follow on appointments. Now, if you're suffering from long COVID, any exertion of energy is really debilitating. And you know that these disability appointments are long. They're out of the way. And let's be honest, the providers are, I feel like, kind of interrogating to make sure you're being truthful, right? So I had the first provider I saw, it was a 3-hour meeting, which threw me into a full-blown symptomatic episode where I was like slouched over on my wife trying to like talk to him. I feel like he believed me. I don't know. He was writing a whole bunch of stuff down. He kind of looked panicky. Honestly, I wasn't doing too hot. The second provider they sent me to was to like do tests that I've done multiple times, like pulmonary function tests, EKGs, echoes, imaging tests, all this stuff that was inconclusive on the private side. It's going to be inconclusive when he do it again. This is not something that's a biomarker. Unless you're catching like my heart rate spike as it's happening, you're not going to see it.
Right.
Now, or they can see some obstruction when I'm doing the pulmonary function test and all that. But at the end of the day, these are symptoms that I'm attributing to long COVID, but there's no long COVID like claim. So you end up doing a whole bunch of testing that causes you to become even more symptomatic. At one point, I had to get an EKG. I've probably had like 20 EKGs. And they catch the like spikes and all that, but it's nothing that like it's nothing that's gonna definitively point to like long COVID, right?
Right. Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Is like, is there something that's pointing to it?
Right. And so I was there slumped over in this hot room because temperature intolerance is also something that I deal with. And the clerk in the front was frankly concerned because I was not doing good. I was alone. My wife was gone. And I talked to her and I said, hey, this is what I have. Have you heard of long COVID? And she starts spitting out symptoms back to me. Yeah, you must have post-exertional malaise, chronic fatigue, blah, blah, blah. She's pushing it out to me. This is a clinic that primarily works with veterans claims. And I said, how do you know that? And she says, I've seen a lot of vets come through with this.
So then you would think that if there's any, I don't know, if there's veterans that have been dealing with this stuff, you would think that they would, okay, maybe we need to figure this out. Maybe we need to, because like I said before, the VA posted, hey, if you've contracted COVID, that you can file for disability benefits if you contract during active duty, and so while on duty. And so now I'm just curious, okay, what's that step, and where is that in that process?
Yeah, the step is claim the symptoms and tie it all back to that you got a COVID infection in the military while you're serving. And I mean, there's a bunch of studies that you can print out that effectively show the more times you get COVID, the more likely you are to develop it, right? So at the minimum, it can be, considered like a secondary, issue that was brought up by your military service, whatever. That's how you have to go about it and be ruthless in it. I also called the White House line, and I told them about my concern about the lack of care, lack of pipeline to COVID recovery clinics, lack of provider and patient education and all that. They called the Durham VA, and effectively I talked to the leadership, got in touch with their infectious disease specialist, and she said that they created a pipeline to at least refer vets to the UNC COVID recovery clinic. But the unfortunate part is that many of these COVID clinics are shutting down.
Any reason why? Any reason why they I mean, did they say or what? I mean,
funding. Okay, so we can go into how leaders make decisions, right?
Right.
Leaders make decisions based on the data that's available. Now, you look at me as an entry point. It took me 4 months of very persistent effort to get a diagnosis of long COVID. And spending thousands of dollars. A lot of people don't have that luxury, or maybe they're even more symptomatic than me and they can't do that. And so they're taken out of the numbers equation. Another thing is that when you have to get a formal diagnosis of it, right? And that goes into like a big data. It's a data point that gets reported up, and that number of we've had X number of long COVID sufferers, right? But what if they diagnose it based on one of the sub symptoms, like postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome that existed before COVID?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's play the game where somebody gets that diagnosis. Well, that's a point for POTS, not a point for long COVID, right?
That's why I asked about COPD, going into ALS, going into MS and all that. Yeah, I was just wondering if that added to any of that, because that was one of the questions that someone said. Did any VSOs, VFW, American Legion jump into this and any of the process?
The county VSO did. When I went to help file the claim, she was amazing. But no, everything else I've effectively done through sheer will.
You're doing this on your own, is what you're saying.
Well, of course, with my support system, right?
Right. Of course. I mean, but you're basically, like you said, self-advocate, toxic positivity, man. Yeah. Trying to get that stuff up, man. I can't breathe
today. Well, at least I can think. I can't think today. At least I can breathe.
Exactly. I hear you, man. I'm not saying I'm all jacked up, but I'm beat up too, and nothing can compare to what's going on with what your situation is. Bro, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Of course.
And again, gals, this all started with just me and him chatting in the inbox, WTF Moments. Thank you again so much, Armani, for coming on, and we'll keep us posted. Hang out for a second after we go on break. So I got more stuff I want to talk about. For sure. So we're gonna take a break right quick, just a few minute break, so we can I can send off Armani, and then we got still two more stories. Two more stories we got to talk about. So everyone, refill your glasses. Go hit the head, smoke them if you got them, and then shots. We'll be right back.
There's a lot of tough talk on Twitter, but there's not a lot of real talk.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
And we're back. Back to the last half of the Monday edition. We're talking about CBD and stuff and all the chats going on. Appreciate y'all, hanging out and providing your questions. Mystery chatter, I got your deets. We'll talk some more about stuff. Just want to say everyone is shouting out to Armani. Armani, thank you again so much for coming on and telling us your story. God, it sucks. It fucking sucks. So, anywho, I just want to play that Rasta. I want to play some Rasta music. Anyway, sorry. At any rate, so the last two stories we're going to talk about real quick before we do some housekeeping is, one story just like breaking right now. Real quick, I'll do the breaking story at the last, so that way I can tell the other guys that I've already alerted them that they're gonna see themselves in the limelight. Hey, real quick, this is as of June 4th that veterans have options to upgrade their discharge characterization. Make sure you guys check out the post that we posted on the main page about upgrading your discharge. Now, look, there are some individuals that say, nope, screw that. Screw it, what you got, but everybody knows because I see it in the inbox. We all see it in the inbox. There are some extenuating circumstances, and I'm just going to say there's some commanders out there that like to drive to Petty Town and characterize discharges that they look back and they say, I wish I didn't do this. And there are some commanders that are inside the comment of the post that we made that I have actually said, I would advocate for this individual to get an upgrade of discharge. I mean, obviously, of course, situation dependent. So if you guys check out the chats on Facebook, and matter of fact, I'll make sure it gets on the on the broadcast. Then you guys can see the story posting on here on the Twitter account. I'm experimenting with Delta 8 THC Alpha. Oh, okay, well, cool. That's another thing too. It's like a lot of this stuff. Look, descheduling, legalize it. I don't want to get into because everyone says, "Oh, well, you're advocating weed and stuff like that." But look, man, I kind of think that needs to happen. That the days of reefer madness has been overblown. No different than alcohol. And so, let me see. So the story is on. Matter of fact, let me grab that story off the page, and then I will put that January 1 for Kentucky. Oh, I didn't know that. Kentucky, wow. Kentucky? Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. Let me go ahead and put that. Okay. Drop that underneath the WTF Nation video podcast, please. And then there it is. All right. So again, if you look on the Facebook page of U.S. Army WTF Moments, you'll see us post that. And there's individuals that have even said, I will advocate for your upgrade of your discharge. There's some discharge cases where individuals could have had issues and, extenuating circumstances for whatever. I'm not talking about dishonorable discharges for like freaking capital crimes or some shit either. So take a look inside that article and all that. Now, the last story that I want to talk about before we do the housekeeping. There's an interesting story coming out of Recruiter Times. Everyone likes to, Recruiter Times. So, look, if a famous person autographs something and you are how do I say this? And you're a hater and you demand that individuals, like say for instance, Tom Brady, signs a football and you make everybody give the ball back because of some sort of ethics stuff like that. When we have seen generals, we have seen actors and actresses hanging out with our military leaders. They sign footballs. They sign autographs. A football? So the story goes is that a DA civilian from USAREC got in the boss's ear, quote unquote, from the Recruiter Times social media accounts, that Tom Brady signed some footballs for recruiters working the UFL championship this past weekend. And then they were confiscated because of ethics. So, Tom Brady, if you're listening, I should have tagged Tom Brady. Did we not just have The Rock show up at the, didn't The Rock show up at the Army headquarters? Every single NASCAR event, every single post that we've seen where the leaders are engaging famous celebrities and they sign a football or they say, do you know how much a signature goes for when you are at a Comic-Con? CQ would tell you. These things aren't cheap. So how many times have we seen, I don't know, famous celebrities? I'm not dissing The Rock here because he'll kick my ass. What about exactly that? What about every USO event? For charity, I'll probably do some wrestling charity events because I know they won't beat up on an old dude like me. But I know The Rock, I guess The Rock's cool, man. But still, if you look at this, if you look at all those soldiers that are standing there saying, "Happy birthday, Army," I guarantee it. The Rock signed something. He probably autographed a couple of helmets, football helmets, some kit, some TA-50 or something like that. So why is it that a football that is signed by Tom Brady, why is that an ethical situation? But why did he show up in an Army uniform? I don't know. Did he show up in an Army uniform? I don't know about the event. All I know is about the fact that a celebrity signed a football, and that's it. Now, I'm going to say this again. Do a mud wrestling charity event, man, he'd still kick my ass. That's Susan trying to cause trouble in there in the chats. I see that. He picked me up. You smell what The Rock is? And he picked me up like a rag doll. And, I wouldn't mind hanging out with The Rock, shooting shit with him and stuff like that. I won't fight him. Dude's a big dude, man. He'll kick my ass. He showed up in ACUs, you think? Let me see. Let me initialize Google search here. And I don't know. Are you sure about that? Let me see. Tom Brady, Army. Army uniform, I guess. What is that? Would be so funny to watch, though. Yeah. He did get some shit about saying that the NFL is like the military. I mean, we did troll him. We posted some memes about him when he said that, breaking balls. I'm not a Patriots fan, so of course, some people who Army event. Let me see. Hey, Recruiter Times, if you're in the chats and you post that stuff up, let us know so we could see the if there's any pictures or videos or something like that. So we'll be more than happy to screen cap that and put that up on the thing right here. So I'm gonna tell you right now, commanders, senior NCO, senior leaders, senior enlisted advisors. Oh, The Rock was in uniform. No, he wasn't in uniform. I just posted the picture, Holly. He wasn't in uniform. He was hanging out. Yeah, The Rock was in civilian clothes. That was that picture that I just posted. Commanders, senior enlisted advisors, PAOs are not commanders. We seem to have gotten to this DA civilian ratting NCOs and ratting people in uniform out. Kind of like the same thing that happened with General Donahoe. So General Donahoe had some DA civilians, and some crybabies throw up some shit there. Throw some shade up his way. What is it with DA civilians that are just throwing some shade out? Don't hate. If you think that something's unethical or out of line or something, whatever, and you freak out, oh, they shouldn't be getting ethics. How much does a football cost anyways? Does it cost more because Tom Brady's signature is on it, or are you just a hater? I'll tell you what, public affairs people could be some fucking hating asses. I'm straight up. But there are some overzealous public affairs individuals that like to, I don't know, flex that role a little bit on that I speak for the commander side. Give them the footballs back. That's what Recruiter Times has posted. Andrew Stolp. You don't want to deal with us. I'm telling you what, you don't want to deal with Recruiter Times. They are the leading reporting media on recruiter and USAREC issues. You don't want to deal with them. Quote, unquote, you don't want to deal with us. Just give them their footballs back. Quote, unquote, they called him a pompous prick. What's up, Recruiter Times? Hey, what you doing, boo? What's up, boo? What you doing, Recruiter Times? Shit, you know what I'm saying? You're right here, man. Look at that. There you go. Now, pow. For the world to see, we're just giving them a little extra, just like our other favorite page, Fancy Bear. I like Fancy Bear. If U.S. Army WTF moments was just 82nd Airborne specific, it would be Fancy Bear. So, hey, boo, what's up there, Recruiter Times? I see you in the chats. So that was the event. Tom Brady signed some footballs, and somebody said something about ethics or something like that. And from what reports are saying, Recruiter Times said that we're going to drag that motherfucker until they get their shit back. Again, if you go to an Army-Navy game, if you go to any NASCAR event, if you go to any of those events, and you see football helmets, come on, man. If you had a football helmet and Tom Brady's sign, how much does a Tom Brady signature go for? You know, there's actually a market for that stuff. Matter of fact, let's Googleize that. Let me see something right quick. Let's see. Man, because I guarantee it, there are some leaders out there that have kept some shit signed by celebrities. Let's see. Cost. Let me see. Worth. How do I say that? Let's see. Tom Brady signature worth. There we go. Let me get some hard-hitting reporting here. Collectors may typically expect to spend several $100s to get a Tom Brady autograph on a common object. Rare artifacts like a game-used jersey or helmet, on the other hand, can sell for several $1,000s at auction. So you're hating the game. You're hating the players in the game because if you got a Tom Brady, I'm not even a Patriots fan. If I got a Tom Brady signed article, I'm gonna keep it. So that's what it is. That's some hating ass right there. Probably PAO or something like that. I'm just gonna say PAO. Is it a PAO? I don't know. Recruiter Times. Is it a PAO? If it's a PAO, man, we can drag PAOs too. I've been hanging out with PAOs lately. Maybe I shouldn't. I should tell them, hey guys, what do you think? So that's what it is. It's the value of the signature, I think, of a football, I bet. I bet that's what it was. Tom Brady signs some footballs, throw it out, find signs some footballs, whatever. There you go. Game-used jerseys or helmets. Several $1,000s. I guarantee it. Oh, from the digging and research that USAREC, I'm sorry, I keep saying USAREC. Recruiter Times is USAREC. From my digging, he is a marketing consultant for USAREC. Hate. That's what it is. It's hate. Marketing. Oh, he told the boss it was unethical and took him back from the recruiter. Did the boss, hey, Recruiter Times, did the boss take him from the recruiters? Or did this guy show up and just say, give me the footballs? Give me the footballs. You can't do that. Did he exercise any authority? Did he order them to do something? Is he one of those GSs that like to say, well, I'm a lieutenant colonel equivalent? You ever heard that before? I'm equivalent to a colonel. I'm just curious. The boss. Okay, so he sat there and was squawking off in the air. Okay, so your Recruiter Times has got a live live feedback right now currently in the chats. And so there you go. There you have it. So that's one of the breaking stories coming out of Recruiter Times right now. The voice of USAREC. I love those guys. A great group of guys. So just want to let you guys know that's what's going on right now currently in the Twitter sphere. As it was taken to social media as well, especially on the X app. Because if you want to find the real dumpster fires, go to the X app. Go to the X app. You will find, like I said, I will say this again. The things that your commanders won't be I shouldn't say this because it doesn't reflect a lot of commanders, but the ones that like to shit talk normally will shit talk on X because they won't say that in front of their formations. There's also outstanding leaders out there that practice what they preach when they post on X and they post on social media and they post on a speech and they post in podcasts. That's where the best dumpster fires, I guess you would say, come from. Oh, you sent me the rock pick? Okay, hang on. Oh, and careful how you said that, Holly. I sent you the rock pick. Oh, that's not the rock, Holly. That's Tyrese. That's what's his name? He was on Transformers. That's not the rock. Wrong ball-headed guy. So this is what she's talking about right here. You know, in the Air Force community, he's pretty popular in the Air Force community, and so that's not the rock. That's not the rock. Are you on edibles right now, Holly? Right now, I'm just sorry. Just kidding. That's not the rock. The rock is the guy that I showed you earlier, who was sitting there with the troops. That's not him. So at any rate, so yeah, I don't get it. I keep searching Dwayne Johnson, and only search results that show up are of the rock. Yeah, exactly. So careful how you word that, Holly. I sent you a rock pick. You know, we get a lot of picks in the inbox, and I do too. You know that. There you go. That's the rock. I am indeed on edibles. Okay, Recruiter time. But anyways, yeah. So just again, a story that's breaking right now, Recruiter Times, and I'm pretty sure by Sergeant's time, by Thursday, we will see more information on what the status of this is. What is the status? Because I think that's a crock of shit. Assigned football is not unethical. You get these for like a couple, $50 or something like that, $40 or something like that. So, but yeah. Anyways, so you're listening to the Monday edition. Today was the Monday edition with myself and Armani Guerra. And, of course, you heard us talking about his stuff with long COVID and the stuff, man. That's some heavy shit, dude. That's some serious stuff. So, again, of course, you're listening to Monday edition by myself and Massey. Massey's on an extended break. And so, what do we have going down? Let's oh man, my calendar is refreshing. Why did my calendar refresh? So once again, Russia and China trying to infiltrate the WTF nation because they're a bunch of haters. Let me log in here to my calendar, and then pow. Let me see what we got. Pow right in the kisser. Pow right in the kisser. Tomorrow we have P.T. Bratton from wait, P.T. Bratton? Yeah, no shit. P.T. Bratton, the comedian. P.T. Bratton's going to come on. He's going to shoot the breeze with CQ. It is going to be a fun show. Look, CQ, stand-up comedian. P.T. Bratton, stand-up comedian. Bro, it's going to be a fun show. I can't wait to see this. God, CQ's been knocking it out of the park lately with his guests. So he's going to be coming out and hanging out with a pop culture warrior with him and Mad Mike, or maybe Angry Elf, one of them. One of the dudes right there. There you go. So that there's P.T. Bratton. He's going to come on and shoot the shit. I'm excited with that. And then we have, who else we got coming up? We have on Wednesday with the Sorents, we have David Bethel. It's a floor. It was Tyrese the rapper from RB saying, yeah. You're not an idiot. You just got confused with your bald dudes. So Florida-based thriller author is reading the New York Army Times one day. He's going to be coming on. He's an author shooting the shit with the Smoke Pit with TZ and Radar. I know there's some stuff going on about there were some glitches, I guess, that Radar had that changed to Microsoft. Was it Windows 11? A lot of AI stuff happening with some of our equipment here, so it'll get fixed. It's been fixed. I've been working on it. So if I sound different or I don't sound different or whatever, or my mic sounds muted or whatever, it's because this new AI stuff's been playing with our systems. And so so he's going to be joining us. He's going to be joining, I should say, the Smoke Pit and hanging out and talking about. He's an author again. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what he's got. I mean, some of his stuff here, some good stuff. So let's see who else we got. Oh, Sarge time, Jack Dona for Sarge time, retired Master Sergeant Jack Dona. He's the guy that assisted Anthony Anderson from Stolen Valor to talk about Steve Slayton. I'll probably get it. But he's going to shoot the shit with me, and we're going to go into that whole story with Steve Slayton because he's got more fidelity and all that. So I'll let him come on and tell his stuff. And then Friday night, Freedom is going to be on, and I think does he have a guest? I'm not seeing a guest. I don't know if he's got a guest or not. So more to follow on that. And then next Monday, I have Marshall Taryn. He's going to be coming on, and he's a veteran advocate. He's going to be coming on and shooting the shit with me again. Most veteran advocates that I want to come on and go back to hey guys, what do you do? What are you doing? I like coaches. What do you hear? What do you say? Tell us about what you do, type of thing. He's going to be on to shoot the shit with me on the 24th, and then Tara Rothery is going to be joining Pop Culture Warrior. And Terrell is isn't she she's like Stargate 1. She's on Stargate. What? Arrow, Masterminds, Caprica. That's what I'm talking about. So there'll be some good stuff here. I can't wait. What else do we got? Oh man, our calendar is filling up too. July is going to get pretty interesting because we're going to have CQ is going to be in a break for a while too. July is going to be pretty interesting because on July 4th, once I solidify plans, I will be visiting an event, a July 4th event at Colorado Springs. There you go, baby. I'm going to be hanging out for some with an event that benefits our service members, and I'm looking forward to it. Once we get more details hammered out, more than likely sometime this week or beginning next week, you will see some details coming out with that. And yeah, we got more Sergeant's Time guests coming out. Oh man, since I've been back, I've been in meetings all day. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Make sure you share, like, and follow. We're on a bunch of pages. We're on 2 Facebook pages, U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. We're on 2 YouTube pages at WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments. And then, of course, Twitter, the Twitter app, X app, at WTF Nation Radio. If you follow it, you'll get a notification saying, hey, we're live. And, of course, if you follow whatever, if you're a subscriber or whatever, that page isn't monetized. So, but if you look at our followers, we got some pretty good followers on there as well. So, again, make sure you share, like, and follow. And, again, thank you, Armani Guerra, for coming on and shooting the shit. And I think that's it. I think we're done. So y'all have a good night and shots. See you.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Sometimes when I look at, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, I think it's WTF Army or something.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
The horse, with beauty unsurpassed, strength immeasurable, and grace unlike any other, still remains humble enough to carry a man upon its back. When a service member or first responder takes an oath, he or she has mentally and physically committed themselves with self-sacrifice. From the front lines abroad to the very streets you live on in America, they protect. This oath is non-refundable and it is lifelong. Facing unimaginable dangers and unseen scars, these grounds are a place to recover and face any challenges head-on. As veterans and first responders ourselves, we know that battle all too well. From a simple talk with a friend on horseback to an entire debrief in the barn, this sanctuary has seen recovery take place time and time again. No hour of life is wasted that is spent in a saddle. The way we approach change isn't a new phenomenon. This animal has been with humans over 5,000 years. If you've ever been around a horse for long enough, you'll feel that thing, that electric trust. In that moment, nothing else is in your mind. When they turn into you, it's like the world disappears. We harness that moment to build skills off of. Repurposing requires flexibility, adaptability, and the willingness to challenge assumptions and conventional thinking. This approach can be applied to many areas in life, including business, education, and personal growth. To ride a horse is to fly without wings. This lesson and skills learned at war horses will help reintegrate back into daily life. You'll learn coping mechanisms, improved communication skills, trust and confidence that will help reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. These tools can be used every day to navigate life and take on many challenges. This may involve practicing mindfulness, setting boundaries, improving communication with loved ones. Transitioning back to society is hard on your own. And when you're at war horses, you're family. And families solve problems together.
Сьогодні ти знову написала, що тобі страшно. І я знову попрошу. Ні, сьогодні я накажу відставити боятись. Погладь за мене Бармалея і спокійно лягай спати. До речі, як там Руся в школі? Скажи тату берегти серце і обійняти маму. І взагалі, давайте усміхатися. Вашій силі краса. Допомагайте один одному і виручайте. Цілуйте любимих. Святкуйте свою свободу. Ви за нашими спинами, ось такі теж надійні, не ховаєтеся, прикриваєте нас із тилу. Зробіть так, щоб ми пишалися вами. І ми повернемось. Повернемось і будемо жити.